Bhante.
Sadhu sadhu sukhi hotu nirvana sapatyo hotu.
Bharatayena maya tattam sabha aparadam samatu me Bhante.
Mikhamitaram.
Dutiyampi okasa vandami Bhante. Bharatayena maya tattam sabha aparadam samatu me Bhante. Satyampi okasavandhami bhante bharatayena maya tattam sabba aparadam samatu me bhante okasa aham bhante Sri saranena saha saddha saddhi attamagashila jiva shilam dekayami anubham katva shilam dekami bhante Dutiyampi okasa aham bhante visarnena sati आजीवट्टमवशीलं जीवयाचामि अनुकम्पत्वा शीलं दीता मे भन्ते सत्यम्पि ओकास अहं भन्ते विसर्णेन सद्दि अट्टमगजीवशीलं यद्दमं याचामि अनुकम्पत्वा शीलं मे दीता मे भन्ते
Yamavadami Dhammatalks. Yamavadami Dhammatalks. Namo
भन्ते
tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स
Three
नमो
times.
नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्दस्स
Buddha saranam gacchami, Dhamma saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami.
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Dudiyambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dudiyambi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dudiyambi Sangham saranam gacchami.
द्वितीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि द्वितीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयम्पि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Tadiyambi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tadiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tadiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami.
तृतीयम्पि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयम्पि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि तृतीयम्पि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
Saranagahanam Bariponam.
तां भन्ते
Pada, can you chant by yourself?
सर्वशील म्हणा तुम्ही.
पाणातिपाता वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि अदीनदाना वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि कामेशमिच्छाचार वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि मुसावादा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि पिशुनवाचा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि हरुषवाचा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि संफलवाचा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि मिथ्याजीवा वेरमणि सिक्खापदं समादयामि
Saranena sa Ajivatamaga silang sadugang katawa pamati na sampatita. Any other program?
No, Bhante. Please, we
Okay.
can start. Yeah.
What about translation? Do you need any translation?
No, Bhante. Direct
No.
is good.
Okay. Okay. So now I will do screen sharing. Okay, now we will pay homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Today we are going to talk about Ñātakānañca Saṅgaho, supporting relatives. This is also one of the blessings according to Mangala Sutta. So when we talk about relatives, we also have to know different types of relatives. According to Buddha teaching, we have 4 types of relatives. The first one, Ñāti Bandhu, blood relatives or kinsmen. This is very clear. We have our parents, our aunts and uncles. Then we have many generations, grandparents, great-grandparents, and so forth. Then again, the new generation, children, niece or nephew, then grandchildren. These are also called relatives. We can say blood relatives. We have another type, Gota Bandhu, relatives of the same lineage or clan. And in India, you may have more knowledge about it. Different lineage, different Gota. Then again, another one is Manda Bandhu, confidence or advisor. There will be some good supervisor, good advisor. We are very close to them. They also called like relatives. This is called Manda Bandhu. And the last one, Sipa Bandhu, fellow students or those who share the same skills and profession. So that means we are learning together. We also have our classmates. When we are going to meditate also, we may have Dhamma friends. All the Dhamma friends and the classmates can be considered as Sipa Bandhu. In this part, Ñātakānañca Saṅgaho, we must understand it must be Ñāti Bandhu, blood relatives. But we also have many other types of relatives, remaining 3 relatives. So when we are doing for the welfare of community, it can be any living beings. So we have a responsibility to support our blood relatives. These are our duties. If we can do more than that, then we can also support anybody around us. It will be more beneficial for the community. So it depends on our ability and skill. We can support many different types of relatives. Briefly, when we talk about Ñāti Bandhu, blood relatives, then there will be some conditions of blood relatives, especially when they face loss of wealth, Boga Pari Jr. In our community, we may have many different types of people. Some of our relatives have a lot of difficulty. They get lost their business and they lost their belonging due to natural disaster or any crisis. When they are facing this kind of difficulty and this kind of loss, it is the time to support them. That is why supporting relatives also limited time. Sometimes we just support unnecessary things. If we don't support necessary things, there's also wisdom. Now we have a second one, loss of health, Bayati Parisunya. So when we are healthy, we can do whatever thing we like. When we are unhealthy, we need special assistance. Similarly, our relatives, when they are unhealthy, we have responsibility to support. So here, when we talk about supporting, there can be many different things, especially here in the sense of loss of wealth and loss of health. It should be material support. If we can support them with materialities, it will be very helpful for them. If we cannot support with anything, then they will feel lonely. That is why we need in the community. As long as we are living in the community, there are many people, they need our helps. Then we have to help them with material. Also, we also need to help them spiritual. So when we are worthy enough, we can support with material. If we are not worthy enough, we cannot support with material. But from time to time, they don't need material help, especially when they have depression, stress, and many other mental suffering. At the time, we just need spiritual support for our relatives. Here we should know what is it really called spiritual support according to Buddha's teaching. One, saddha sambhada, to establish in faith. So here we have to elaborate a little bit more about faith or confidence or saddha. We have many different types of saddha according to Buddha's teaching. But here, if we have unshakable faith, unshakable confidence in the Buddha's teaching, triple gems, and three trainings, and the benefit of three trainings, this is called saddha. Why saddha is important in our community? So we have many different types of conditions. For example, when we are going to do dana, if we have saddha, we will do righteously, perfectly. So saddha is like a seed to be planted on the soil. So which means if we have proper saddha, we can plant the seed of dana properly, correctly. Not only that, if we have saddha, we can also plant the seed of morality. If we don't have saddha, we may have many excuses, many reasons to break the rules, to break the precepts. That is why we need saddha to reinforce our dana, sila, and bhavana. Then again, when we talk about saddha, having said, we must learn the benefit of sila, samadhi, panya, three trainings. It's very easy to say, to believe, but sometimes we lost our confidence in three trainings. So if we can have strong saddha, we may have very clear minds about the benefit of sila, samadhi, panya, three trainings. So if we can clarify our mind, our saddha is strong enough. When clarifying the mind, saddha is like a universal monarch emerald stone. When the universal monarch is going to drink muddy water, or very hot water due to the sunlight, then he may put his emerald straw into the water it will subside all the mud, all the mud, and all the dust. Not only that, it will calm down, it will cool down the water. It becomes drinkable. Similarly, when we have a saddha, our mind becomes clear, perfect, calm down, and peaceful. So when our relatives doesn't have faith, or when they have a lack of confidence, we have to have them to have faith. Now we also have one other things to note about faith or saddha. The one is karma ownership. So we are created by our karma. Now we must believe in the karma. Actually, karma comes from ourselves. When we are going to do good things, there will be good result. When we are going to do bad things, there will be bad result. When we have this kind of belief, this is called saddha. So saddha is very important for the community, especially for practitioners. When our relatives are lack of saddha, we must have them to have faith. When their saddha is shaken, then we must have them to have unshaken faith, or unshaken saddha. One more thing here I have to elaborate. Saddha again. In Pali, we call saddha Dhammatalks. That means making decision by confidence. When we have very strong saddha, our confidence becomes stronger. When our saddha becomes weaker, our confidence becomes weaker also. Our decision also becomes weaker. It's important to have right decision. Sometimes mana, so important, also pretend as saddha. Mana also can make decision, but it can be wrong. It cannot make our mind clear and calm and peaceful. That is why we need right saddha, proper saddha. That means pure saddha that can make our mind clear and calm down and peaceful. So we also have to have our relatives, especially blood relatives. If we can have anybody around us, it will be more beneficial. Okay, now we have next one. Sila Sampradaya, to establish immorality. So when we talk about morality, we also have to understand the meaning of morality, sila. Sila also comes from the Pali word sitala, cool or peacefulness. When we have sila, it will bring peacefulness in the community. If all the people around us can undertake precepts well, it will be more peaceful. Now we also have another definition of sila. That is sila, hat. Sila means our hat. So head is the top of our body. We also have many important organs in our head. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue. All important body parts are in the head. Similarly, we must respect sila, but like our head. It's important. If we are beheaded, we cannot be alive anymore. Similarly, if we are immoral, we are livingly dead. That's why it's also important to establish morality. Then, as we can undertake precepts well, we can also have our relatives to establish morality. So, sometimes we need good community to make peaceful. So, first we must do ourselves. We must be moral. If we are moral, we cannot guide anybody to be moral. Again, I have to elaborate a few more things about morality. Yeah, morality means we also have charita sila, duties, and responsibilities or obligations. Then we also have Varita Sila, abstinence. So as a human being, we have many responsibilities, many duties, many obligations. We must fulfill all our duties and responsibilities. If we cannot perform well, we are immoral. We also have to upgrade our value, and also we have to upgrade our morality, our ability. If we can upgrade our ability, we can also guide people. We can also fulfill our responsibilities and duties. This is also important factors. Abstinence is very easy to say. You have already known 5 precepts. Today you also take Ajvattamaka Sila. It's very easy to advise somebody to follow 5 precepts, but it's really, really very difficult to follow. That is why Buddha also recommended his disciple to follow precepts, to undertake precepts. This is also beneficial. That's why to bring benefit for the community, we need to support our relatives to establish morality. There will be many other definitions of sila. It will be too wide. Okay, let's go to 5 precepts, easier way. For example, if we don't kill any living beings, then living beings will not be scared of us. So if we kill living beings, they will be scared of us. Why is scary? Fear, worry come because of killing. Similarly, we don't feel our property as safe or in good condition because of stealing. Similarly, Kamsumichachara, Musawara, Surameria, you can also imagine. If we feel our families is safe, we can feel peaceful. If all the people are telling truth, we will believe each other. Now we suspect each other, that means because of Musawara. So when we are going to fulfill the perfections of morality, we need compassion to our living beings. We must show our kindness to our living beings by speech, by actions, or by thought. If we have kindness and compassion to our living beings, our sila will become pure. Of course, we have to be skillful in fulfilling sila parami, the perfections of morality. It will be easier to support our relatives. So if we say briefly, we also have to help our relatives to establish morality if they have lack of morality. The next one, Jaga Samadaya, to establish generosity, stinginess, possessiveness. This is one of the impediments of our life, our generosity. So we also have to know the meaning of dana. We also have to know the meaning of property. Okay, we should say easier way about material wealth now. When people are earning, okay, now I think all the listeners are also earning, right? When you are earning, you also have a lot of stressful life, a lot of depression, worry, anxiety. You have to suffer a lot for earning. After getting what you have, what you want, you have to protect, maintain with worry and anxiety again. When I also worry, anxiety, after getting also, we have to protect them with worry and anxiety again. Now when we get lost, or maybe spoiled or destroyed by natural disaster, or some crisis, then we have to suffer again. All the material in our hand can be damaged in many different reasons, many different causes. If we can maintain well, it will be easier for our life. Now for safety, if we can do charity, generosity, it becomes real our belonging. Before offering, it belongs to any enemies. Also buying water, buying fire, buying wind, earthquake, buying environment, bad rulers. It can be spoiled by anything, but after offering, it becomes real belonging of ourselves. That is why Jaga Samara is also important. If we are so stingy, if we have more possessiveness, we cannot share. We are unwilling to share. So when our relatives are very stingy, we must help them to be generous. We must guide them the benefit of generous. It doesn't mean we have to talk about, for example, offering food. There will be 5 benefits of offering food, and you will be beautiful, right? Also, you may live long and many benefits like this. It doesn't mean we have to explain that kind of things. We just need to explain the purpose of generosity. Another thing is the way of material wealth. Another thing, the conditions of dana or jaga. You may have already known what's the really meaning of jaga. Without donations, we're going to offer. Without receiver, we're going to offer. Without donor also, it cannot happen. The most important is without generous mind, without volitional formations, it's impossible to do jaga or dana, generosity or charity. Okay, yeah, in the sense of jaga, it also means sharing among the relatives, sharing among family member, sharing in the community. Any of sharing, any of offering can be considered as a jaga. Of course, there must be qualifying jaga. If we have freedom of mind when we are sharing, that means without any expectation in return, it's much better. Jaga samara is also important. That's why when our relatives are stingy or more possessive, we must have them to have generosity. And another one, Anya Samadaya, to establish in wisdom. Here, wisdom is very wide, according to Buddha's teaching. When we study Sutta, we can also know the simile. Panya Samma Apanati. There's no brightness like wisdom. At night, in the dark place, when you go here and there, you don't feel safe. When you have the light, you may feel safe. For example, when you are driving, if your car head light is not very bright, you're going to drive very fast. When your headlight of the car is very bright, you can see very far. Your vision becomes wider. You can drive faster. Similarly, if we have wisdom, our vision becomes clearer and clearer. We can move faster. In our daily life, we are doing many different things. But if we are not very skillful, not very wise, we have very slow improvement. Okay, practically, you may have meditation. Sometimes you can meditate smoothly, easily. Sometimes not very smooth. What makes it different? In reality, when you have skill, you can improve easier. If you don't have skill, then you will improve slower. We need skill everywhere. It comes from experiences. So when we have difficult conditions, we must be wiser. We must find a solution to overcome it. Sometimes people avoid difficulty, especially in meditation, right? Many people complain, why I have to do that kind of difficult things? Why I have to do that kind of silly things? Actually, if we want to live easily, we can live any other ways. Without meditation, it's easier, right? When we are going to meditate, sure, we have to encounter some difficulty if we want to improve. Of course, if we don't want to improve, we don't need to think about it. So every single improvement, there is difficulty. Every single difficulty, there is a solution. If we can find a solution, then we become wiser. Sometimes we just follow the natural way without practicing properly. Then we cannot be wiser anymore. Okay, here when we talk about Panya, it will be very wide. In Buddhism, we have basic wisdom or basic knowledge. That's a karma ownership. Believing in karma is a result. When we have that kind of Panya, this is the foundations of Buddhism. Again, we have Silamaya Panya. When we are practicing, also, when we are undertaking precepts also, we need skill. We need wisdom. So that means in life, we have to find the way to avoid doing wrong things. This is also Panya. We have Jnanamaya Panya, the knowledge that's associated with jhana, absorption stage, or concentration. Then when we are practicing samatha also, we need wisdom. We need skill. Without skill and wisdom, we cannot improve. This is also important for practitioners. Vipassana Panya, this is very high already. Without wisdom, we cannot see Namarupas. We cannot practice Vipassana. Path knowledge, fruition knowledge, review knowledge, they are for special people who have attained path and fruition knowledge. Okay, so if our relatives lack of wisdom, we must help them to have wisdom. So here we have 4 different ways to support our relatives. The first one, Saddha Sampradaya, to establish in faith. Sila Sampradaya, to establish in morality. Jaga Sampradaya, to establish in generosity. Finally, Panya Sampradaya, to establish in wisdom. When we have this kind of supporting, we can also establish better community. In the sense of relatives, I already mentioned, it can be blood relatives, it also can be our classmates, Dhamma friends, anybody in our community. If we can support them with these 4, it will be better community. Then the Buddha said, supporting relatives is blessed. You have already know Mangala. Even the name of this group is Jaya Dhamma Mangalam, right? So Mangalam means blessed. And sometimes we also use the English word auspiciousness. What does it mean? What does it mean really called? What it really means auspiciousness? Yeah, blessed. I should introduce what's really called blessing according to Buddha's teaching. There are a few definitions. The first one, three aspects of Mangala. The first one is Iti Karana. It's called Mangala because it's cause of beneficial power and fulfillment. Iti means power. It will produce power. So if we can support our relatives, it becomes power. Not only that, we can also fulfill many other duties when we have power. You can practically see in front of, around you in your community. There are many people. They have power. They have strength. They are influential. They can help many people. That is why when we are going to support our relatives, whether we expect or not, we may have etikarana. It will be the cause of beneficial power and fulfillment. Of course, some of the power are not that much beneficial for the community, but this one is a beneficial power. Another one, Bhuti-karana is the core Mangala because it's the cause of growth and progress. Sometimes we need to improve. Of course, without skill, we cannot improve. We want to progress. Of course, without skill, we cannot progress. In the sense of Bhuti-karana, we have to understand that by doing or by supporting relatives is called Bhuti-karana. We can progress ourselves. Then again, the last one, Sapa Sampati Karana. It is a core Mangala because it's cause of all accomplishment. Here, Sampati also can be known as achievement. So we may achieve many things. So we have many types of blessing, many types of Mangala. All the blessings will bring higher achievement, better achievement. Sometimes we cannot say what kind of achievement it is. But we can, if we can say it briefly, it will be only two types of achievement. It can be the achievement to bring benefit in this very life, to bring benefit in the future. This is also called sampati. So sometimes if we are not very good in this present life or present conditions, we cannot expect better life in the future. That is why we also need special achievement, special benefit in this very life or in the future. This is called blessing. Okay, so today we just talk about one blessing about supporting relatives. So we are living in the community. When you study Ratana Sutta, you can find three statements: Buddhatacariya, Ñātakānañca, Lokatacariya. We just understand as a three jariya or three types of practice. Buddhatacariya, we must try to know, or we must practice to know the truth. The Buddha himself was practicing to know the truth in many lives. When he was fulfilling Parami, he tried to know the truth all the time. If we don't know the truth, we cannot guide anybody. So it's also important, Buddhatacariya, to practicing to know the truth. Ñātakānañca, then we must practice for the welfare of our relatives. So here we have already mentioned the meaning of relatives. It will be too wide. It can be our own blood relatives. It can be anybody in our community. It can be all over the world also. So we must practice for this kind of practice we call Chariya, Ñātakānañca, practicing for the welfare of relatives. The last one is a Lokatacariya, practicing for the welfare of all over the world. This is also important. So if we just do for our own welfare, without helping, of course, our community also cannot help us. If we help our community, they can help us better. That's why we also need to practice 3 types of charya. Buddhacharya, to know the truth. Ñātakānañca, for the welfare of right reason, for the welfare of relatives. Lokatacharya, right reason, for the welfare of all over the world. If we can do well, then we are fulfilling parami. Parami is not ready-made. We have to fulfill and establish letter by letter. If we can fulfill well, we become mature. If we become mature, we can also attain path and fruition knowledge. So today I will stop here. May you all be able to practice 3 trainings, and may you all be able to realize final cessation and not suffering. Okay, now you may have question.
साधू 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 म्हणते. कोणाला काही प्रश्न आहेत का?
Long time I cannot get Dhammatalks, right? Because
Yes,
maybe
Bante.
tomorrow I will leave for Singapore. After that, I will go back to Myanmar. No more internet connection. I cannot get Dhammatalks anymore. Be careful, right? Now, if you have question, ask now.
Yes. Please प्रश्न आहेत का? लवकर विचारा. I think no question, Bante.
No question? Okay.
I will translate this in our regional language, Bante.
Okay, sure, sure.
Yes, yes. So, Bante, please share the merit to us.
Okay, sure. You can share merit. But you also know how to share merit, right? Idavadacha amehi.
I will follow you, Bante. All
Okay,
will
okay.
follow you. All will follow you.
Okay, repeat after me, right? Idavadacha amehi.
Etavatacha ammehi
Sambatam punya sambatam.
sampadang punya sampadang
Sabbe devanumodantu.
sabbe deva anumodantu
Sabbe bhutanumodantu.
sabbe bhuta anumodantu
Sabbe sattanumodantu.
sabbe satta anumodantu
Sabba sampati siriya.
sabba sampatti siddhiya
Idame nyatinam hotu.
idang me ñātinang hontu
Sukhita hontu nyatayo.
sukhita hontu ñātayo
Idame nyatinam hotu.
idang me ñātinang hontu
Sukhita hontu nyatayo.
sukhita hontu ñātayo
Idame nyatinam hotu.
idang me ñātinang hontu
Sukhita hontu nyatayo.
kita hontu ñātayo
Idame punyam.
idang me punyang
Asavakaya.
asawakayang
Aham hotu.
wahang hotu
Idame punyam.
idang me punyang
Nibbanasa.
nibbanasa
Pajayo hotu.
pachayo hotu
Mama punya bagam.
mama punya bagang
Sabba satanam.
sabba satanang
Bhajemi.
pachemi
Te sabbe.
te sabbe
Me samam.
me samang
Punya bagam.
punya bagang
Lavandu.
labantu sa.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante.
Any other program?
No. Thank you, Bante.
Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.